the number of game developers in India were like in 3 digits always.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Like PC game developers, forget. Like I'm talking about game developers in general, like genuine game developers. I'm not talking about Team Patti and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I can totally relate because when I was working in Games to Win in 2010, we used to count game designers. We were 12 game designers, and everybody knew everybody. And it was like a circle. Like if I'm working in Games to Win right now, and if someone is working in Zapak, he leaves Zapak, I go to Zapak. he he goes to Games to Win. That was the circle. Hello and welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Also, welcome to this series of episodes that we do in conversation with. And today, like always, जैसे हम हर बार किसी न किसी industry expert से मिलते हैं. Today we are meeting one of the experienced guys from the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aman Biswas.
hello,
Aman,
hi,
yep, yeah,
hi,
hi. Can you
industry
can you just
experts.
can you just quickly give a background to the audience?
So I started my gaming career, quote unquote, by blogging early 2000, like since 2013 August. I founded this website called AcidCast, where
Okay.
I think first talked to you back then, and then I
Yeah.
did like Nerd Meet in 2015, which was like a pop culture gaming event. And then I joined Nvidia and worked there for 3.5 years till last year, July, August. And then I'm working now from then to now at Gamer Connect, handling their marketing. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So overall, this is more of the gaming community that you are involved in
Yeah,
since the start.
yeah. So what I specialize in is, events, then community, and some, since because I was in blogging and stuff, I also specialize in digital marketing and stuff like that. So I see the beats of the in say community online, stuff like that. What's trending, what's not trending. Yeah.
Yeah. So what got you into this? Like is this the first thing that you did when you got into the industry? Acid cast. That's what you started, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what was it, and why did you get into this firstly?
So why did I get into this is very simple. I wanted to always. I got my first PC somewhere in 2000, I think, and one of the
Yep.
first games I played in on PC was some Age of Empires.
Okay.
And even before that, I was playing games. I was playing games since the age of like 5, 6. I was playing, you had those bootlegs consoles that you would attach to TV
And
and you had to blow
and
in the thing and then
the
put it in.
Mitashis, and
Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't original, which I found
yeah,
out much later. We never actually got the original consoles. We got bootleg stuff.
yeah,
And I said I played games. I played like um Duck Hunt, I think it was called, like the
yeah,
pistol
yeah. The duck
stuff.
hunt.
Yeah. So I've always loved gaming. I've loved gaming ever since I found out gaming was a thing.
Hmm.
Tech was a thing, right? And I think that solidified when I played something like Warcraft 3, which was like back
Yeah,
then it was like holy shit. They
yeah. That
can tell
was
a story
huge.
like that in like RDS and with that graphics. So yeah, I after that it was a no-brainer for me. I wanted to enter gaming one way or another.
Yeah,
And right after school, I was like, okay, I can't become a developer. That's not my thing. I knew from the beginning that game development, even though I want to get into it, I can't immediately start because coding,
correct.
engine,
Yeah,
good PC, more importantly, right? So I
and I
just
think
start.
I think back then it was quite difficult to even understand the paths. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah,
exactly do you need to do to get into this?
yeah. So when I started AcidCast, one thing I knew was game journalism, which was very
Mm,
still basic, right? Not something very complicated. You follow the trends of gaming, you put it out so
yeah,
that more people can hear it, and you then mix and match. You give your opinions, you try to do new content, you make stuff up, which is basically content industry, right?
yeah.
And that was more simple for me to understand than say game designing, though I did learn 3ds Max for like about a year in Mac. But I gave up. I was like, this is okay. India is probably not the place to learn these things
Yeah.
because of how slow it went. So yeah, I focused more on the game blogging side, and it made more sense. It did well also for the time being, and it gave me a foot like a stepping stone to
Hmm.
go about in the industry. Yeah, back
Got
then
it.
I didn't know anything when I started, so I just wanted to get in. I saw IGN, I saw all the big stuff. I remember messaging IGN, can I get in? And they said we don't have position. Back then, just 2 months after I opened AssetCast, IGN India came, and I just messaged them, hey, can I get a job? They're like, no, we don't have positions in on it. But yeah,
But at that time, this was 2013, right? And that
yeah.
time, I think, so India, specifically India, was not even closer to this. Apart from Dota and some of the GTA and FIFA series, nobody actually went into uh, playing games at a scale which people are doing right now in terms of PC as well as console. But during your time in Acid Cast, you just focused on work writing about the games which are global, or you also focused on the Indian aspect.
So initially, I wrote global stuff, right? Initially, that's what everyone does. When they get into blogging, they're like, okay, this trailer came out, let's cover it, right? It's
Mm,
cool.
yeah,
And that's how everyone starts out. But I think 2, 3 months on in, I realized I'm not exactly doing anything. I'm like just copy content. I'm not
correct.
even doing what BuzzFeed is doing, which is like making interesting listicles that at least make you laugh, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I quickly moved on. By the third month onwards, I quickly moved on to creating content. So 2 months in, we realized that covering global content, there's no like very little point, because it wasn't fun.
mm,
Less so than it wasn't getting us views. I'm sure if we kept covering, we would have gotten views, but it wasn't fun, and we wanted to write interesting stuff that was probably not being covered or people don't talk about as much. And then that turned into 6 months in, okay, why aren't we covering what's happening in India? Just
yeah.
because, not because again, it was what, there was no goal as such. It just came about. We as like junior journalists or whatever you call us, we realized that covering stuff that we are more interested in makes it automatically something more interesting to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
read about.
Definitely. I even I remember Acidcast putting out a lot of Indian content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People who are making games in India. I still remember that used to happen. Yeah, but you that there was there hope at that time? Like India would, like the developers in India would or probably come up with something like like what Zen is doing, or what Raji is, the kind of quality that people are right now reaching. Was there a hope at that time?
Of course, I'm even though I share very depressive memes on social media, I'm a very optimistic person in certain aspects. I think gaming, it's a matter of time rather than if or not it will happen, I think.
Yeah,
Because you just see how many people are, getting access to this. It's
yeah,
like it's like you see a good film and then you ask, is there hope something like this in India will come out? You
yeah,
show that film to 1,000 people,
yeah.
eventually it will something close to
Come,
that will come
yeah,
out, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
my concept of thinking. And I knew it, for me it was just a matter of time, because while I did know that gaming is still a luxury, at least in 2013 it was very much a luxury, not
yeah,
as much as today, right? If to get into gaming, like proper gaming, you would need either console or a PC, and along with that accessories which were expensive, plus the games themselves were expensive.
yeah,
And purchasing games back in the day, unless you're buying pirated games for PC, which is like 50, $100, if you were buying original games, they could range anywhere about $1,000 to $3,000, depending on whether you're buying FIFA or just a random strategy game. For me, it was good because I liked random strategy games, right? So I bought I went to Planet M and I saw all the discarded stuff. I'm like, okay, what can I find that others haven't looked through here, right? So yeah, stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
always had hope. I think it was just a matter of time because you see the population, you see the basic income, you see it was just a push that was required. PUBG M was the first push. I think lockdown and coronavirus is the second push.
Yeah.
Like now they don't have anything to do. How many movies
Yeah.
will you watch at home? Right?
Yeah.
How many TV series will you binge? You want something more engaging in nature, like something that's requiring your attention rather than passive entertainment. And gaming does that for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. You rightly pointed out this PUBG M thing, right? PUBG Mobile. What are your thoughts on this shift? Like, because I think back then, before 2016, it was not much. Like, people were. I so I consider it as a wave. Like in 2012, 13, there's a huge wave of game developers that came. Like single one
yeah,
people, two people, three people companies started
from
making
India, right?
games from India. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
specifically talking about India. Then in 2015, 16, I saw this huge pool of people playing games, like the gamers and the
yeah.
streamers. Obviously, PUBG Mobile was one of the trigger points that got a lot of gamers and even casual gamers playing this game, because there's a social connect obviously, and people tried wanted to play it with friends. What are thoughts on that kind of that growth that happened from uh, from the point where nobody was actually, only the hardcore gamers were considered as gamers, and they were playing the games, to casual gamers getting onto the platform? Because I'll tell you what my perspective is. It helped us as game developers a lot, because the
Yeah, I'm sure.
because the
More
spectrum.
population of people who
Yeah.
can buy your stuff now. I
Yeah.
think the biggest example of that is Raji. Like
Yeah.
it's becoming popular amongst the PUBG M crowd. They're like, oh my god, like so cool, right? And you wouldn't have thought of that, right? No, you wouldn't think that someone like who's never mostly played PC games would be interested in an indie game from India all of a sudden after
Yeah.
playing PUBG M, right?
Yeah.
But that's what's happening. I think people in the industry knew it was coming. People
Hmm.
in the industry from 2016-17 were focusing a lot of their attention towards mobile gaming because
Yeah.
they were like, look, this has a wider base of audience in India. There's no comparison, right? And there isn't. I think back then the statistics were used for Candy Crush and stuff like that. But that crowd was very different. That crowd was for lack
Like
of
an ultra casual, like proper ultra casual
yeah,
people,
and
like
there was an age group. There was an age
yeah.
group. These were people who were generally housewives or
Hmm.
middle-aged men and women in office,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
wasn't the children. It wasn't the teenagers who were playing these games, which was very interesting back then
Yeah.
for me because I
Yeah.
entered the industry and I was seeing the stats and I was like, okay, interesting,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, I think the focus was there. I think I guess people sort of expected PUBG to blow up. Some people didn't. I was always confused on how you would control something like PUBG with all its intricacies in a place
Yeah.
like mobile. And they just dumbed it down. They're like, no, no, no recoil, no nothing. You just like
Yeah.
go kill. It's like
Yeah.
it plays more like I would say Unreal without the jumping and stuff than like PUBG in PC, like PUBG
Right.
Mobile.
Right. Right. Right.
And overall, it's been definitely good for the industry. You can, I think, see the effects of it everywhere in the country, from the Prime Minister speaking about, PUBG
Yeah.
landmines, and making the entire country's newspapers put out headlines. The Prime Minister said PUBG M joke, right?
Yeah.
That happened. And to just like a lot of parents kind of accepting the fact that gaming is maybe a way of earning
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Now.
now a lot of people are seeing those people like I had my mother.
Yeah.
I have been employed in gaming for 4+ years now,
Yeah.
but my mom last year is like, hey, why don't you stream? It's like, what? And she's showing me pictures of Mortal and stuff
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, yeah, very nice. So yeah, those concepts are becoming more. accepting, like
Yeah, I
give
think it's become
revenue.
acceptable to the older generation as well. Like they,
Because I think it's a bit cliche, but I want to just point out Indian parents just care about money.
yeah,
They're like,
that's true.
yeah, if your son or daughter is earning X amount, oh, okay, that's fine. It's
Yeah,
stable, okay, that's fine. Okay, I have no questions, right?
yeah,
I think that was the biggest worry because, of course, when you are, it's the same thing. It's an art form, right? So,
yeah,
musicians get to hear it a lot when they're growing up, and they're like, "Hey, I want to be a musician." What? How will you earn?
yeah,
Right? That's the same
yeah.
question that is in
वो सब तो
gaming.
ठीक है लेकिन पैसे कैसे कमाएगा?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think one of the other thing that recently got into the heads of a lot of older generation as well is the success of Ludo King.
yeah,
It's a simple mobile game, but still, I think the impact that it created is that Indian companies who are making games can make a lot of money, which is where people are going into that direction. Okay, so coming back to your journey, right? Journey. You started with writing about games. How did the shift happen from that to Nvidia? What was your plan to go to Nvidia? What was the objective?
there wasn't any plan. Honestly, I stumbled upon the job. To be
Okay.
very honest, I did acid cast for almost 2 years, 3 years without like any kind of revenue source because I
Mhm.
was dumb. I wasn't like, and I was also not focusing on revenue. I was like focusing on how much views can I get, like how much views can I rack up, and we did rack up quite a lot of unique viewership because we were getting about 50,000 traffic in 2014, 2015, and
That's great.
80% of it was from India. And
Yeah.
I was like, holy, that many people gaming in India and reading about the games we talk about. We were talking about niche titles like the Bloodborne, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and when I say our articles were niche, I mean we wrote an entire essay on why Bloodborne is like Cthulhu type horror, right? And that article we saw get like over 20K views, and a lot of them were from India. And we were like, that I think that's what we chased after, like excitement of having to share our excitement about niche games that we don't find people talking about.
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, there were two kinds of people. Either you're not gaming, right, which was the majority, and if you're gaming CS:GO or mostly, right,
Yeah.
something along those lines, or Dota.
Or Dota. Yeah.
Yeah, no one would talk about Dragon Age Origins. Hey, do you know what happened to that story? Like no nerd, go away. It's like it was like an outlet for us to express our excitement about different games, different things happening in the industry,
Yeah.
clickbait stuff.
Yeah, but
And
I
then
think, yeah, I think that's how it all starts. Well, for most of the people, it just comes out
yeah,
from the interest that you are into, and then converting into the profession.
yeah, yeah. And then I did Nerd Me 2015, which was like I was a very simple rule. I was like, okay, I have so many people reading. Where are they? Right? I mean, I can see them on the map, on the analytics and everything, but I don't know who they are. They mostly no one comments on websites.
Yeah,
Right. If you're a website owner or a blogger, you will probably know. Comments are rare,
yeah,
right? So I was like, okay, let me search, find them. We did like a small event. We somehow managed two PCs. One PC was not even a PC. We just like attached RAM and motherboard to a motherboard, CPU, and connected it to a monitor. And we just
yeah,
started. We got a place. Um, it was 2nd of October, and
yeah,
NASCOM was. I think there's a. You can see like there's like that poster.
yeah,
That's from the
yeah.
first event. That's from the first event. So we got like I went to NASCOM. I was like, hey, 2nd of October, you guys have nothing to do. It's off. Give us the floor, right? They were
Yeah,
into gaming, so they were like, fine. We went to Red Bull. It was like, give us Red Bull. They're like they give Red Bull everywhere. So like,
yeah,
okay. Back then I went to Nvidia. I was like, hey, give us money. They were like, okay, where will you spend it? And back then I was like, okay, yeah, where will I spend it? Right, because you always think when you start about, you're like, you don't think of the finer details, and then you're like, Nvidia was like, no, we can't give you money, but we'll give you pizza. and we'll connect you to like local store MD computers. We got
Yeah.
connected, stuff like that. We did our first event, 100 plus people came.
Oh,
We did quiz, stuff like that. Like we tried to do quiz. It was mostly chaotic, but 100 people came, and most of these people were playing with each other in Kolkata, but they have
oh,
never met,
yeah.
right?
Got it.
They never
Got it.
met each other, and most of these guys are single player co-op or niche games, not CS:GO. This was not a tournament. We pitched it as a community meet, right? Gaming community meet,
You're
and
right.
that happened, and then Nvidia noticed us. Nvidia was a part of it.
Mm,
Nvidia was like, hey, can you do similar stuff at East? Back then, someone called Atul had approached me to help him out, and and then I helped him, and then he liked my work. He was like, hey, why don't you apply? I applied,
yeah.
I got in, and then I realized after I got in, okay, it's East India marketing car job. I was like, what? I just thought I have to do like small events there.
Got it. Got it.
So yeah.
But then now, like after Nvidia, now you're doing Gamer Connect.
Yeah.
What? So just tell us what is Gamer Connect and how is it impacting the gaming community?
Gamer Connect, for people who've been following the gaming scene, PC gaming scene specifically in the last 2 3 years, they will know about Gamer Connect very well.
Yeah.
We are like a traveling expo of sorts, like a gaming event. We do events in various cities of India because a lot of these cities don't have gaming experiences. Like we go into places like Bhubaneswar, Guwahati, not just metro cities like Bangalore or Mumbai. We go into Lucknow, everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these places might not have a big gaming experience. For example, ESL, IGX, they are relegated to specific cities. So we try to bring that experience to different places, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and we try to connect gamers. We try to build a community around PC gaming. We try to use that platform to um, yeah, grow the PC gaming scene and also bring value to brands who might be interested in the PC gaming scene, right? There's a lot of PC gaming brands. There's a lot of developers, I think, who might not like today. There's a lot of developers on mobile who have a lot of ways to advertise their games and stuff. There's a lot of things going around mobile development as well, game side. But I don't see the same development first, don't see the same support for say PC game developers in India.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of places you guys can show your games in comparison to like PAX East, right? Where I've seen some developers go from India to PAX East because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
similar here to do. So that's the
Definitely.
idea. That's the idea to uh, and that's what the change we are bringing about in the community. We want to grow the PC gaming base, and we want to grow the PC gaming base in a not just the esports manner, but also people who are playing high-end games, AAA titles, single-player titles, RPG, RTS, whatever you might have, right? We try to showcase as many types of genre and types of games as possible. If
Okay.
if
Okay.
if there's opportunities, I'm sure. But yeah, for the moment, PC gaming.
Okay. Okay. And then the audience is divided into two, right? Like the developers who can showcase their games in Gamer Connect, and the people who want to see the new stuff which is coming out.
So getting developers involved is a very recent thing, and it was a very recent thing since
Yeah,
last year.
yeah. Because even
Right?
I've been following Gamer Connect for like 2 years. I think two
Yeah,
years, right?
yeah.
And I don't know. I think 3 or 4 times a year it happens.
5 times a
Different
year.
5 times a year, and only this year I got to know that I can showcase games. And I
Yeah.
think in Bombay you were planning an event in Bombay
Yes, yes.
recently. Because of this it didn't happen.
Yeah, we were planning a GC Mumbai before coronavirus, but indie game development I wanted to show off since a long time because I know I know two things, right? I know there has to be, just look at the population, there has to be some talent here, right? You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
like go through so much population and be like, yeah, there's nothing,
Yeah.
right? I that's my basic logic. And the second thing is I want to showcase Indian devs so that the competition comes up. I think that competition is required
Yeah.
between the developers themselves to, I want to make the next big thing, because I do expect India to make something like the Witcher 3 equivalent of what Witcher 3 is. Poland's shining crown, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I expect something similar from India
You
as
so
well.
you won't even believe, like, since I started this YouTube thing, right? I'm talking to a lot of 13 to 17 age group, right? Like
Yeah.
people, students from that group. There are I think, like, I've seen 3 to 5 games made by these 13 to 15-year-old guys, 3 4 guys, and these games are like proper PC games,
Hmm.
made on Unity or on Cry Engine, which are like proper PUBG equivalent. Not that huge, but they are trying stuff like that, and it's quite surprising and quite interesting to see stuff coming out from these people, like from kids who are, doing this. And I think because of this free tools that we have right now to make anything as big as, PUBG, if you have enough resources, financial backup basically, I think you like will definitely see some amazing games in the coming 2 years on PC.
Of
Like,
course, of course. I think when I was very excited about game development and trying to make a game, Unreal Engine wasn't free, right?
yeah.
Unreal Engine became free when I think 2015 or 2014. I think it went free-ish, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
before that, it was charging. Even Unity and stuff like that. It wasn't. You needed
U-
beefy hardware. It wasn't.
Unity was not. I think it was not even good for a PC game at that time, because
Yeah, but I remember there were issues. I remember what there were some issues, like it was mostly for mobile, some
yeah,
or
yeah. So
browsing and stuff.
it started as a mobile, right? It started as a mobile development tool, because we
Right,
started using it back in 2011,
right,
and I think till 2014 or 15 it
right,
was
right.
nowhere in comparison.
Some of the bigger Unity games started coming out from 2015, if I recall correctly.
Correct.
Right. So I genuinely think that there's a lot of things coming from India, because again, first of all, everyone's interested in PUBG now, right?
Yeah.
Not just children, their parents are interested in PUBG. I see people randomly, like 35, 40-year-old people in metros since last year playing PUBG randomly because they're getting bored. And
Yeah.
seeing someone play solitaire and seeing someone play a full-fledged game. I mean, I don't want to say solitaire is not a game, but the
Yeah.
amount of mechanics that's involved in something like solitaire and something like PUBG is vastly different, right?
Right.
And seeing that kind of transition is amazing. And I think we are going to see a lot of big, like, we're going to see a proper revolution. My frustration is with the fact that this will come despite the industry presence in India, right? We don't have places that actually support developers. We don't have platforms that actually support developers. We don't have mentors that we're like, they'll teach. All of these institutions, I've been part of one, Mac Arena, they teach you very specific things, and they
Right.
take a very long time to teach you very basic things, right?
Correct. Correct.
I was in Mac for almost a year, and they just taught us 3D modeling for a year.
Yeah.
You don't need to teach someone 3D modeling for more than a month for them to
Yeah.
understand the concept and then churn out stuff, right? I
Yeah.
think the concept of teaching in India itself is very bad, and when you couple it with game development, which is a
Yeah.
very creative field, right? it's like
Right.
it's like it's like asking someone to draw a vase over and over again for a year and expecting them to be a really good artist by the end of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not what happens. You just get people who can outsource your designs for bigger companies abroad. And yeah, that's my frustration with the Indian scene. I don't think there are enough platforms or people?
Yeah. I keep talking about this thing also, like institutes and colleges. Like majority of the institutes, they just give you a bunch of everything. Like I don't want to become a programmer. I am here to become an artist, but you are packaging it in such a way that it's game design, you're game
And they
artist,
call
you're game
everything game
programmer. Yeah,
design. They call
exactly.
everything game design. Everything is
Exactly.
game design in India.
Exactly.
It's become frustrating to me to explain that no, there are, it's like how in a movie not everyone is an actor. You have
Yeah.
producers, you have script writers, you have other people doing things, you have a cameraman, you have an editing guy. In gaming, it's the same. It's like, and
Exactly.
it's very hard to explain to people that not everything is just one category of, yeah, you're
Yeah.
getting into cooking and that's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think the cherry on top is the amount of fees that they are charging for
Oh,
this.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's insane.
Mac, I remember, was 2 lakhs or something. It was not
Yeah.
worth it. You're
Yeah.
better off watching YouTube videos at home. You'll
Exactly.
probably
Exactly.
learn
It's a
as much.
it's yeah, it's an equivalent to around 4 to 5 lakhs now, because I saw these pamphlets of the institutes, even Mac or some other institutes. It's in the range of 5 to 10 lakhs now, just to get that knowledge, which
It's
is just waste
insane,
of
which
time.
is insane because all of these videos are free. All of these tools are free, right? 10 years
Yeah.
ago, 10 years ago, it would still make sense because softwares are not available. YouTube was still very much not accessible and people were not making these kind of content. Video game content in 2010 was gated behind paywalls. Like you would
Yeah.
have to pay for videos to watch specific like tutorials and stuff. But today, everything is there. Today,
Yeah.
if you want to make a game, you don't actually have to make anything either. You can just take
Yeah.
assets that are free on, and you can see that on
Everything
Steam.
is there.
You can
Everything
see
is
that on
there.
Steam. I think we are also going to see a lot of games from India, which are shovelware, which I don't think Indians know what shovelware is, right? Which is basically taking assets, taking mechanics, cobbling it together, and look, here's
Yeah.
my game, $5 on Steam, right? I think we're gonna see a lot of that, but that's fine. I think that's the cons that comes with the progress. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, being in the community, right? Being in the being doing like doing a lot of work within the community already. Are you connected a lot with the sports?
I'm somewhat connected with esports. Esports is like I have to do esports because it's work. I'll
So
put it this way.
yeah, just like since we are talking about it, a lot of people have already asked me about this thing, and I'll just uh, if you can just shed some light on that as well. If a normal guy like at 11th or 10th passed, um, and needs an advice as to how to get into esports, what would be your suggestion to him?
First of all, don't quit school if you're in 10th.
Mm,
If you're in 12th, same thing, right? In if you're I'll give you a very genuine advice, and this probably goes against what I did, which is I did not go to college after school, right? Go to
mm,
college. Degrees in India are very important. In India are very important. I'm not saying anything else, right? It's
yeah,
very contextual to India. It's not what you think, it's not what I think, it's not what your parents think. But most people who will hire you or who are willing to give you a job, they will care about a degree, which is insane because this is a skill-based industry. But yeah, and if you want to get into esports, it's not very hard actually. If you want to understand how to get into esports, first of all, practice, right? Very simple. It's like cricket. If you want to get into cricket, you'll have to practice. You'll have to be good at cricket. You can't be a silver at CS:GO and then be like, hey, I want to be a pro. Okay, that's not happening. If you are silver in CS:GO and you are not willing to take the grind to go up to global elite or any counter of that game, like you put Valorant, Dota, whatever, probably think twice about going pro, right? If you have the natural talent, like you're really good, you have a really solid rank in a particular game, what you should do is see the viability of that game. I think that is something that people do not do a lot in
mm,
India. There's a lot of games that have esports quality that might not be India feasible. One of the best example I can give you is Overwatch. right?
Yeah.
One of the best examples I can also give you is Age of Empires 2, which is right now having a very massive community across the world after
Mhm.
the definitive edition came out. But in India, it's very much lacking, right? So if you're saying Age of Empires 2 Pro, do you really want to dedicate your life in for that game in India where that scene is not taking off?
Yeah.
And in comparison, if you're so good in PUBG M or Valorant, go try it. It's the new biggest thing in the country, and it's definitely a lot of push there, not just from the developers, but from the community and from third-party organizers. So
Yeah.
these are all matter. Like look where the scene is. Don't blindly go into a game you love, right? uh, it will hurt a lot of people. A lot of people might be like, for example, PUBG is the best example. PUBG PC
Yeah.
had a huge scene when it started out. Today it's dead. Like it's not dead, but there's definitely less people playing it and enjoying the streams of PUBG PC than
Yeah.
most other games today. So there's no point in trying to be serious about a game that's might not come back
Yeah.
compared to what is going on now. You will see a lot of pro esports players across the world also do similar things. Like in India, for example, a lot of CS:GO professionals shifted to Valorant
Yeah.
because they saw much more scope in Valorant than in CS:GO, and that is completely valid, I think. Um, because at the end of the day, if you're a professional gamer, you still have to earn, you still have to feed yourself, you still have to figure a way out of some way of growth, right? You cannot stay stagnant. And I think that is very dependent on not just your skill, but also which scene you're in and who are you networking with. Make sure you have the right people around you. Uh,
Yeah.
make sure a lot of people who get into gaming initially like being toxic and they think that's part of the um, scene. That can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
That can get you in trouble if you are not able to like handle what you say. Some people can go grow very big and that will get them in less trouble, but it's safe to say that it's better for you to create trouble after you go big than before. Let me just put it
Yeah.
this way. Yeah. So,
Makes sense.
so yeah. So if you're getting into esports, figure out the scene, be serious, grind, get ranks, get known in the community, interact with people who are playing that game, get to know them, get your name out there in the community, and automatically things will happen if you have a right team, if you're playing well, if you're participating. There are lots of online tournaments today in the day of coronavirus and lockdown. There is barely any offline tournaments. Everything is online.
Yeah.
Uh, everything. There's Esports Club is doing Valorant, then there is Nordwind doing Valorant stuff. There's so many third-party organizations doing Valorant stuff. GC is doing Valorant stuff, and I think, um, yeah, pick a game.
Yeah. The very first stage of this thing is to just pick your game, right? Like,
Yeah.
because a lot of people still think that an esports player is an esports player in general.
Mm.
uh
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, and that is a perception that I hear a lot from people, ki, what do I have to do? Do I have to start playing these four games and make myself better in these four games? So yeah, that's your suggestion, right? That choose one game,
Yeah.
um, grow in that game, but before that, figure out the scope of the game, whether it's
Yeah. Yeah.
gonna be
So,
lasting
for
for.
example, Dota and League of Legends don't work in India, right? They
Yeah,
don't have viewership. Like
yeah,
anyone who's in Dota, was in Dota in India, will tell you it's not any more relevant to the community at
yeah,
large, right? It does not even come close to some of the bigger titles, or it does not even come close to some of the PC games, niche PC gaming titles. So yeah, the game you choose matters a lot.
all right.
So the starting stuff, yeah.
All right, awesome, man. Aman, it was a great conversation. Just to wrap it up, like your this the stage in which you are right now, you are managing the community. You're doing a lot of stuff in the in gaming scene. If anybody, like anybody wants to wants to pursue a career like this, is there a straight path to it, or it's a lot of,
That's a very difficult question because what again, like you said, like back then, what are you, do you want to get into? Do you want to be an esports professional? Do you want to be a game developer, or do you want to be in a completely corporate marketing?
Yeah,
So
because when I'm even asking this question, right? Even I am so much convinced that uh, all the people right now in the industry are in this industry or at this point by a lot of, doing a lot of things.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just landed up here. They just landed up here by doing a lot of stuff. Like even me, I started as a game programmer in a software company, and then getting laid off from that company, going to a different company as a game designer, and I know a lot of people who didn't have a single straight path to where they are right now.
yeah, yeah.
um, I don't know if is the situation changed in this time, or it's just pure hard work and just
I
doing
mean,
a lot of.
hard work always matters. Hard work
Yeah.
will always matter. Like that's one thing you can't replace in any industry. Yeah. But I don't think there's a straight line yet. There is no, because in India the industry is forming as we speak,
Yeah.
right? We are still seeing a time where people are hiring left and right. A lot of new people are getting in, a lot of old people are getting into different places,
Yeah.
and a lot of things are happening. There is still no straight path, but if you want to get into the gaming scene, the best advice I can give is something that someone gave me a long time ago when I asked him the same thing, is talk to a lot of people. Talk to a lot of people who are in the gaming scene.
Yeah. The
Talk
networking.
to talk to as many people as possible in the gaming scene and put in the effort to get noticed, like in whatever way, whether you're creating content, whether you're getting into esports, whether you're getting into events, whatever. If
Mhm.
you talk to 100 people in the gaming scene and you just share what you're doing on your Facebook post and they're just on there, eventually people will notice.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
right.
people do notice. They just don't tell you that they
Yes,
notice. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. There are a lot of people lurking, and gamers are the best lurkers, right? They will not say much, but they'll definitely noticing. So yeah, the hard work never replaceable, right? Whatever you choose, stick to it. Be consistent about it. Grow to a point where you can be happy. I think if you cannot be happy with your content, no one else. Like even if other people are happy, I don't see much, like I don't know, it's for me, I have to be happy about what I'm doing before
Yeah.
like other people's comments like affect me, like even if they're saying like oh my god amazing, but if I'm like something's not good, like yeah, no. So yeah, be put in the effort, be consistent, talk to a lot of people, because this is an industry which was till 2 3 years ago just 1,000 to 2,000 people across the entire country.
Yeah.
Right. I know for a fact that there were like 2 3 years ago there were like the number of game developers in India were on like in 3 digits always.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Like BC game developers forget. Like I'm talking about game developers in general. Like genuine game developers. I'm not talking about Teen Patti and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I can totally relate because when I was working in Games to Win in 2010, we used to count game designers. We were 12 game designers, and everybody knew everybody. And it was like a circle. Like if I'm working in Games to Win right now, and if someone is working in Zapak, he leaves Zapak, I go to Zapak, he
Yeah,
he goes to Games to Win. That was the circle.
yeah,
Literally
yeah.
12 game designers back in 2010.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's grown from that. It's definitely more than 12 now.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, it's huge now.
But it's still a small circle.
Yeah,
I still see people repeating. Like if you're in the scene, you will see familiar faces all the time.
yeah,
It is still not big enough to be like it's still the same network of people, and I think like it's heading in a way where it will become like something like Bollywood, like
yeah.
one town and everyone's just there, everyone knows each other, they're like yeah.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion is this is the best time because it's very easy to get noticed in
Yeah,
this in this industry right now.
Yes,
Tomorrow it will be difficult, but
of course.
this is the right time to get noticed and just do your stuff, create
Yeah, yeah,
content
yeah.
or
The
whatever.
next 1 to 3 years is definitely the changing moments for Indian gaming history. We are
Yeah.
seeing that live right now. We saw that all of a sudden with people like Mortal Pop-Up, which went from gaming viewership in India being like 100,000 people to suddenly 1 million concurrent viewers, and everyone was like, what the hell is happening
Yeah.
in India? So yeah, you'll definitely see a lot of that.
Yeah. All right, man. Aman, thanks a lot for being with us. I hope we have put out a lot of information out there for the people to know. Once again, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thank you.